Oh, that's good. That's
Hi.
good. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Oh, what are you doing there?
What am I reading?
No, I said, what are you
Iron
doing
Gold,
there?
book 4 of Red Rising.
What's Red Rising?
You don't know what Red Rising is? You can't. I lost where I was. This book is so freaking good. Do you like sci-fi? Do you like young adult dystopia? Sprinkle of romance? Do you like some complex character work that's easy to read and has a good balance of show don't tell? Do you want to have epic moments? You want to watch a car crash, but like a good car crash in terms of there's bad stuff happening, but you know it's gonna inevitably rise back up and it's just so hard to look away. With a cold ass MC that just ore farms, you wish you could be him. Stop looking, because it's Red Rising. It's right here. Oh my god. So it was released in 2014, written by Pierce Brown, just this dude. Currently there's 6 books in total, and honestly I've been wanting to make a video about this first book for a while now. It's such a great introduction into this world that Pierce Brown has created. It's so fun, it's action packed. Like, I haven't read a book that's made me feel this way in a long time. I obviously love the greats like Dune, Lord of the Rings, but there's just something about having a book paced like this that really wraps you in the world immediately. And gotta say, it's probably one of my favorite books I've ever read. And I just want to share to you why it's so good. There'll be like minor spoilers, so just be prepared. I'll put a warning on the screen. If you want a long story short, it's just well-paced, has a bunch of action. The character work is amazing, especially the drama between each of the characters. It's an academy-based beginning stages of a war and the person who leads it and the consequences of so many actions. The themes are also great. It tackles slavery, power, subjugation, information control, all in a very digestible manner for today's audience. It could honestly be pushed a lot further if you're not familiar with young adult fiction. I think it's a great start into this genre as a whole as well. Like, I genuinely think if you don't like reading and you can read at a high school level, this is a good book to start with. Hopefully it gets a movie or an animation one day. I'm not really sure how they're going to do that with 7-foot, 10-foot people. They did it with Avatar, but that's a big ass budget. Anyways, first up, the characters. Alright, let me start this off by introducing you to the greatest ore farmer in modern sci-fi. Darrow O. Lycos, please come to the stage. He's so cool. He can do everything. This dude is a real motherfucker. This dude was out here laying down the hammer on future Peerless before you guys could even graduate high school. So imagine, you're deep underground in a cavernous system. You're on Mars, top of the society or goals, and they control everything. They're the strongest, the smartest, the richest. They're basically demigods of this world. And the next you have the Greys. That's who Darrow interacts with the most after the Coppers. And so the Greys are like your militant police force, meant to keep order in the mines. But all you know is that you're a Red and you're here to bring humanity to the future and manifest destiny amongst the solar system. You're trying to make ends meet by mining some fuel, compete against other Red clans to win a laurel, which basically gives you more resources, rations, luxury items, you know, just stuff to spice it up and give you something to chase. All right, and then comes the twist. But it's not the exposure of the world above, brutality of the conditions you have in comparison to the other classes. It's that the system you're currently in is rigged. You will never win. And then after that, it's kind of sad, but you shake it off because you get some freaky time in this mysterious garden that your wife found. And then your wife starts talking big game like, oh, we're oppressed. You don't know the real world and we must rise and break the chains. And then y'all get caught. She sings a song that she's not allowed to. And then she dies. And then you go to bury her knowing that you'll die for it. And then you die. But the Lord has something in store for you. And it's after this, Darrow's ore farming arc begins. He beats Dancer's test. He solves the holocube. He intimidates Mickey, the frickin' bureau, or whoever golds come to him. We're here to investigate you for cheating. What? What the fuck? You missed one question on the entire test. Holy shit. This guy is the frickin' GOAT. He undergoes a procedure that everybody basically dies, but he makes it through because he got bit by a freaking pit viper, and now his heart is as strong as an ox. Strengthened by gravity, his entire neural interface of his brain is rewritten His skin, his pores are tightened. His eyes are changed. The sigils on his hands stripped and replaced with his gold enslavers. He's no longer a red. He's a gold. He's a sheep in wolf's clothing. He's a sheep. He's a sheep. He's a sheep in wolf's clothings. He gets drafted in top 10 by Ares, by Lorne. Apparently they all talk in accents, but since I'm reading in my brain, I don't hear all that. And then in the Institute, he just pops off. Oh my god. Let's see what I got here in my notes. Okay, so he secures a draft in the House of Mars. Yep. He wins the passage against. And this is also like one of my favorite parts because you know what's getting set up. This is when Darrow goes out and doesn't tell Cassius, spoilers, that there's gonna be some bad blood between these two, especially here. Cassius is so self-righteous. Ambushes Mustang. Mustang, apparently the smartest person ever, keeps getting outsmarted by Darrow. But who wouldn't? I would, especially like if he's this freaking hot guy who sees you in the showers naked and you guys both blush and run away. So ungold. You know, that's kind of I like that. You know, I like that a little bit. He chokes out Pax, kicks him in the balls. That's boring. That dude. And then, you know, it all culminates. He storms Mount Olympus and a bunch of other stuff. I could go on and on. This book is so hype. It's like watching this massive space opera, Hunger Games style in your head, and you're with the main character. You're reading his every waking thoughts, what he sees in people, and what he thinks people think of him. Darrow's character arcs in these books are some of the best aspects. It's really cool to see how he starts off as this brooding, like vengeful, sort of naive character, growing into someone he himself actually wants to follow. Because he was chosen to lead, he's chosen to be this person, essentially a messiah for his people. And he's not that at the beginning. He doesn't want to be that. And he tries and he fails. And for a second he wants to just run away, but because of his position, because of his wife, he pushes through and claims victory in the end. And it feels so good at the end of Red Rising. Everything that Darrow's done. He gets the girl, he does this crazy twist of pledging allegiance to the guy that... Okay, we're gonna speed this up because I want to go to bed. So in life, there's good people, there's people you want to be your friends, have around, and then there's people with sticks up their butt. And that is Cassius in this book. Cassius is one of the better written characters, I would say, in Red Rising. Especially in the first book, he is a great image for us to picture what a gold is supposed to be. He's smart, cunning, strong, you know, a little sexy, a little into the worldly pleasures. But he also does have a heart, and that shows a lot when we are introduced to him. He's protective and he wants to help out Darrow and invite him to be, you know, a surrogate brother in a sense. And so he's great for us to see that because, you know, although we know the moment with him and Darrow is inevitable to come when they have to confront each other, we hope that he is one of the better goals because everything that we've seen from him shows that he's not just a simple gold. However, ultimately he sticks to what he thinks is right. And this is his downfall. It's his self-righteousness and his inability to give up his gold indoctrination. And his character is great and super interesting, but importantly serves as a complement to Darrow's. As Darrow's the symbol of reds, Cassius is basically the symbol of the golds and is the example of how gold will fall in the end because of their inability to change. Severo is the GOAT. Oh my gosh. If I didn't love Darrow so much, Severo would be my top dog. He's got Darrow's back since day one. He's the anti-gold essentially, as he doesn't really fit in with the typical stereotypes. He was a low draft. He was supposed to be, you know, one of the guys that died in the passage. But he's around, and he's honestly one of the funniest characters in this book. You always know he's gonna say something sarcastic or maybe even a little grotesque, to be honest. But I love having him around, and I think he really serves the plot well and being a character that sets the world up to be grander. Severo in the first few books does a great job at progressing the will of Pierce and Darrow. You always know that Severo has a plan, and that's what I really like about him. But yeah, he's my boy. Severo's my boy. Now Mustang. Her back is to me. Muscles lean as she dons her shirt. I make a noise. She turns suddenly. And for a moment, I stand there blushing. Golds are not supposed to care about nudity, but I can't help my reaction. She's beautiful. Heart-shaped face, full lips, eyes that laugh at you, breasts flowing like Greek. They laugh. like they did as she rode away on the horse. It's the same girl who called me a pixie when I rode the pony. Wow, Mustang. I gotta say, the part with Darrow and Mustang, it was so damn cozy. It reminds me of how I felt when I watched SAO and Kirito and Asuna went on that dumbass, oh, let's go off the front lines and take care of this AI girl and, you know, have a house. But it was really cozy. That was really cozy. That's how I felt. Like, man, Darrow, just forget all that. Forget all the golds. Forget all the house Mars.
I'm in love with you.
All you need is Mustang. She got you. You got her. Oh my god. Boom, bam, done. And I think her character is probably the strongest here than in the rest of the first trilogy. But honestly, I can't tell you one thing I can think of where she uses her intelligence, at least in a way that looks greater than Darrow's intelligence. We're gonna do a speed round. Jackal, dude is a maniac. He is Aldrin Sov, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know, he's crazy. Roke's cool. Roke's cool. Let's think. Pax, Pierce, Brown. You gotta stick with one. That's all I gotta say. Pax. As for themes, there was 3 that I chose to highlight when I was reading it. They're the first that stuck out to me. Obviously, power with society, the whole pyramid thing. The second was control of information and history. That's straight from the get-go with the Reds. Everything is controlled for their flow of information. But I think the most important theme to me in Red Rising can be summed up by this dude. His name is Sun Tzu. You know, he's an up-and-coming writer. And it goes, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. And if you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. You might be asking, how does that relate to Red Rising? Well, every character in Red Rising their outcomes basically dictated by if they understand who their true enemy is. Characters like Titus and Harmony, they see the apparent enemy. That's every single gold, that's every single one of the upper colors, the oppressors of society. They see them and blanket term them as one monolith. There's no room for discretion, and in the end, that leads to their demise because they treat everybody the same because of their history. Whereas characters like Darrow and Dancer, they're able to actually achieve their goals of freeing the Reds, rising up out of slavery, because they understand that the conflict's not against just a singular gold or a singular station or X or Y. It's the entire way society has poised itself. You know, the way that Titus and Harmony think, even though they got pretty far, they're exactly where the society wants them to be. The society wants them to think that all the golds are their enemy. That's how they positioned it in the first place. They do this so confidently because of how strong they are. And I think an interesting case too in the first trilogy is Cassius, because this dude is a textbook example of how you should actually know who your true enemy is. He lets himself believe that Darrow is the source of all of this trouble for him and his family, and so in the end it really punches him in the nutsack. So yeah, but I think it's a great theme, especially because of its actual real life implications. You know, this isn't like a rare theme. I just think it's a good theme to see, especially in our current day and age. You gotta really think about who you're listening to and what you're trusting. As far as world building goes, I think Red Rising is really fun. For me, I didn't read the back of the synopsis of the book when I first bought it. So as I was reading it, I was like, okay, this book is really popular, and are we gonna be on boring ass, dirty ass Mars? I was kind of thinking, okay, it's gonna probably be colonized to some extent, but the fact that the whole system was already colonized, that was awesome. And specifically for this first book, the Institute is so sick. Olympus, weather manipulation. The entire setting of the first book is inside this cool, gigantic arena that's supposed to simulate medieval human society, just with the added benefits of care packages and, you know, that touch of Hunger Games that I've been showing this entire video. And then past that, the claw drills are sick, grab boots are sick, ion blades, pulse shields, sling blades, of course, with the razor. All the cool modified fauna and flora, the medbots, the sigils are sick, and the carving. Yeah, I think the carving is so cool, and I do appreciate that it's explained why it doesn't happen a lot. But yeah, overall, I love the soft sci-fi take. He introduces a lot of terms in the beginning, and it can kind of be a lot upfront to expect you to simulate the environments and everything and keep track of where is what, or what is where, and who is what, and who is who, and who's doing what. But overall, I think it's a great start to the series, and Pierce's writing gets better. Maybe I'll make more videos on Golden Sun, Morning Star, and the rest. Yeah, I do have a lot of thoughts on those as well. But man, I think Red Rising just scratches an itch for me that, yeah, I just can't get anywhere else. Hello, hello, it is I, post-editing Luke, post-film Luke in the future. I recorded this all a few weeks ago. I've been editing it. This video has been so annoying to do. It's my first video that I've done this long, with so many freaking clips. But I just wanted to edit this video because this book meant a lot to me. It still does. There was such this enveloping feeling that I felt when I first read Red Rising. It's that, for me, that rare feeling of something is so good and you just never want it to end. And luckily I did, write some thoughts down and record some stuff. And that's what this video essentially is. It's those last vestiges of how I felt about this first book and how amazing Darrow was and this world that I was first experiencing. And I just wanted to solidify these thoughts finally somewhere to remember how I felt, because I just finished book 4. I just started Dark Age today, actually. And I've heard a lot of things about it. Nothing plot related, but more so just the feelings of it. And I'm seeing how Darrow is being set up in the future and a bunch of other stuff surrounding this universe. So I think it's good that I'm making this video, and I can already tell that my opinions are changing a lot. Less so in like the respect for the characters, but more so the respect for this universe. I think I'm taking it a lot more seriously. Yeah, I think it's a great book. Still probably one of my favorite series I've ever read, especially as it's the only young adult series I've read in this past, 2 years, 3 years? So I still like it a lot, and I'm glad I recorded this video. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, because goodness gracious, holy moly, this took so freaking long.